hop into our regular episode.
Okay. Welcome to the Bar is Ankle High, Season 2, Episode 105, your favorite ADHD podcast that that explores...
It's not a prodcast.
explores life's low bars with wit and wisdom. I'm Katie.
and I'm Garet.
Yeah, I'm struggling with my lips today, folks. I'm not totally sure what the problem is, but I can touch my nose and stick out my tongue, so I'm probably not having a stroke.
Huh. Well,
what?
I hadn't considered that as a possibility, but I'm glad that you did.
Well, I haven't been drinking yet, so it has to do with something.
It couldn't be fatigue. It couldn't be the burnout. Also, we're going to talk about 90 Day Fiance franchise, right?
Oh, yes. So this show has everything.
It really does have everything. It has everything. So what have you seen of the franchise at this point?
So I've seen a few episodes of 90 Day Fiance, never consecutively. I remember seeing part of the season with the guy who was in, like, he's from the Pacific Northwest and he has the Ukrainian girlfriend. He, like, lives on the side of a mountain and she's, like, bored out of her mind. I want to say her name's Natalie.
Does he have curly hair?
No.
He's a big dude.
He's a big guy, like, and he has, like, a cousin uncle that, like, works on his
and he
farm.
Looks like the kid from that School's Out or the Recess show.
Yes.
He looks exactly like that kid. Yeah. Okay, Mike and Natalie.
Yeah. So I know a little bit of their bullshit.
Yeah.
And then
they're, like, in the middle of nowhere, and he works really far away.
Yeah, and, like, bizarre hours or something.
Everything's bizarre. Everything about it is bizarre.
And she's just fucking bored, which is fair. Because even when she goes into town, she's like, this is not even close to who I am as a person. And
that's one of those things, like, you see them and you're like, did you guys even remotely talk about what life would be like every day?
No.
You know, like, who... What?
I think that he was like she was like, oh yeah, I love going out, going to bars and going dancing, and I love getting my makeup done and my hair done. And he, I'm sure, heard that and went, yada, yada, yada. Why would her interests be of any value to me? Like,
probably.
Something like that had to happen.
Seeing him shrug.
Yeah.
He was just constantly like, That's my impression.
So I know a little bit of their story, and then I'm familiar with a lot of the memes. So that's it. But up to this point now, so I'm watching before the 90 days.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, it's a show that follows the people who are ultimately, ideally, going to end up on 90 Day Fiance after they've procured a K-1 engagement fiance visa. But this is like how they meet and dating and the proposals and meeting the families. Mm-hmm. That's what this show is theoretically supposed to be documenting. And
the show kind of, like, now the franchise has branched out where it's like before the 90 days, 90 days the other way, after the 90 days, 90 Day Fiance. There's, like, all of these different spin-offs, ideations of this same, long-distance romance concept.
Right. And so I just finished season 1, and I'm on the second episode of season 2 at this point. So season 1 has the guy who was, like, a meme of him running. But he, runs... Paul. He, runs like he's waddling. Yes. I think I said it to you in a text, but, he runs like he's got a load of shit in his pants, and he's trying to, not smear it down the back of his thighs as he, gets to a restroom.
You
it's so
just
strange.
Left it at the shit in the pants, but I appreciate the the extra effort that you went through
You're
to
welcome.
detail what all would be happening with the shit.
Anything for you, Garrett.
Oh my God.
She's going to divorce me, guys.
This is what I'm talking about. This is why when she said, do you want to hear something gross? You
Tune into Patreon.
Yeah, you really need to think about how you answer that question with Katie. So anyway, yes, Pole and
Karini, which I maintain her name is supposed to be pronounced Kareen, and he's just an idiot.
I think on the subreddit, so the subreddit refers to him as Pole, Pole, and Karini is Kreeny, I think, because that's how he says it. Karini. Yeah.
So yeah, he's also like, he's got like some very unique neuroses that traveling to a place where you need to take like anti-malarial medication was probably not good for his mental health. This guy had a weird penis sheath that he had to wear over a condom on his limp ween in order to prevent microbes from going up his urethra area, as he called it.
Do you know any of what winds up happening with them?
Nope. Somebody commented, because I've been documenting my thoughts as I go along and making TikToks on our TikTok page. And somebody commented, like, because I was like, this poor girl seems like so sweet. And they were like, well, now she's a miserable American. And I was like, well, aren't we all? She was like, the response was something like, that's not the point. And I was like, well, it kind of is. Like, I'm not going to like sit here and explain to you how everyone is miserable.
Do you want any spoilers?
Sure.
So they wind up having a couple of kids.
Before she comes over or after?
You know, honestly, they wind up back and forth between Brazil and the U.S. a lot. So it's kind of hard to keep track of, like, what happened when.
That's weird.
But they wind up losing custody of the kids.
Both of them lost custody.
Both of them lost custody of both of the kids.
Why?
And I feel like there was some domestic violence accusations. I don't know. I haven't read up on them in a while.
Well, that makes sense because he was arrested for arson and he keeps describing it as, I was accused of lighting my belongings on fire and then spent 18 months in prison awaiting trial and until he accepted a guilty plea. And I was like, nope, that story isn't working because you're a white man in Kentucky. So I'm just not sure that it was simply a matter of like, I'm wondering if there was like you have been deemed unfit to stand trial at this point. So you are being detained in a treatment facility. And then once he was deemed all clear, like stable, is when, when they allowed him to accept a plea. And then he violated a restraining order against that same ex and had to go back to prison. So
I think I said to you yesterday, he's truly just like one of the worst people. He's terrible. But I believe that there is also a period of time in which he and Creanie had an OnlyFans account and they were filming their own content.
Gross. Gross. Because that guy, if anyone has a needle dick, it's that guy. He just doesn't look like he's packing heat. Just saying.
The timing of Katie saying that and then sitting back and taking a sip out of her tumbler.
My little itty bitty straw.
That was excellent. So there's that guy, and then there's the lady who's from Haiti.
Yes, Abby.
With this, did she have scabies?
Yes.
Or crabs or something?
No, she had, so the guy that gave it to her kept calling it scabies, which I thought is like a lice type infection.
I thought so.
Is my understanding. And like the reason that's my understanding is also very typically bizarre. but I associate. So the first time I ever heard the phrase scabies was when I was watching Schindler's List.
Okay.
And they were talking about like an inspection at one of the concentration camps and trying to make sure that they didn't look like they had scabies. So like, so that they wouldn't get exterminated. So that's my understanding of scabies, but it would make sense that it would wreak havoc in a close quarters, unhygienic concentration camp type setting. How you get scabies otherwise, I have no idea. Actually, you know what? I'm going to Google it because now I'm questioning the scabies thing. But they went to like a voodoo healer.
Yes. That's a crazy season. What? So now you started season 2. So who's on season 2?
Well, first on season 1, the girl with scabies, is like, she has basically 2 sugar daddies, the one who's on the show, and then this other guy that she's like demoted, but not really. And then at
There's
the
still
reunion,
like something going on between them,
there's
for
definitely still something going on.
Yeah.
And then at the reunion, she's like video conferencing in and is doing so from the former sugar daddy's condo in the Dominican Republic. And he like sends her this message because she was like, oh, what's the Netflix password? And he wouldn't give it to her because he changed it. And he sent her this message that was like, basically like, you're using me. And I was like, okay, so like you were fine being second place on paper to this other man who like wants to bring her to the US, but you still wanted to get laid. So like I'm willing to bet that she was like, oh, nothing's changed, we're just not having sex anymore. And he was like, well, that's disrespectful. Like, never mind that guy also, this random guy that she ditched.
Didn't he just like make your skin crawl?
Yes. He's giving like intense serial killer vibes. Like clearly
so
this guy,
creepy.
because he also said he's like, oh, I winter in Haiti. First of all, no, you don't. You have a condo in the Dominican Republic. It's a separate country. But second of all, saying that you winter, like it just, I'm like, oh no, you have a wife and children, don't you? Like you have a whole life that people aren't supposed to know about. And like, ew, just, it's just giving like,
there's
like, I feel like he also,
go ahead.
yeah. Like he's definitely given his wife back home STDs from his business trips that he picks up. Like he's super gross.
Like I just watching him on TV, I was like, ugh.
Yeah, no,
I don't like him.
He needs to be on a watch list if he's not already because, he's super creepy.
He's on the Bar's Ankle High watch list now.
That's official, a stamp. You just need like the ching ting, the noise from Law and Order.
There you go.
But so that was a wild situation. But the other one that got me was the guy that season who looked like Andrew Tate, who went to the Philippines to find his one true love, and like his luggage gets lost, and it's like,
is that where his brother goes? His brother was like really unsupportive of it.
It's his cousin, but they're about the same age.
And then his cousin goes and meets somebody.
I don't know about that yet. That hasn't. So his cousin does have I think his wife is Filipino because she was like, okay. You need to be. His wife was like, you can't trust these women on these apps, like. And was like kind of shit talking this girl, and the girl, like the 4 of them were on a video chat, and the would-be fiance was like, you don't get to speak to me like that, which is fair. Like, yeah, she hasn't done anything to instigate that kind of treatment. Like, that's still pretty unfair. You know, you cannot like somebody without like attacking their morality, especially if you haven't met them in real life. So. In any event, but that guy, he just looks like Andrew Tate. And I'm like, gross. Also, he said at some point in that season that it had been 14 years since he had ever had sex with a woman, because the last time he had sex with a woman was before his son was born. And the producers were like, What?
Does he manages a McDonald's?
Maybe. He like cashed out his 401k to go to the Philippines. I know that much.
Okay. I feel like he ends up bringing her back to like Florida or something, and I think he was managing McDonald's. But anyway.
Maybe.
Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely an Andrew Tate lookalike.
Yep.
And then he it's just so weird. It's just so weird. And
there's a lot of, and these are the early seasons where I feel like you got some legitimately weird people too. This is before it was like really big, like it really took off. So,
and then the last couple on that season was Darcy and Jesse in Amsterdam. And that guy is like the Temu Eric Northman.
Yes.
And
yes, he thinks he looks just like Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh, I'm sure that he thinks he is Alexander Skarsgård sometimes. Like,
yeah, I think he's like into like red pill type.
That would track.
Yeah, like self-improvement, self-help stuff.
I believe it because he speaks
stuff
that way to her all of the time. And it's
Yeah.
the kind of thing where like you're watching it and you're like, wow, this guy's a jerk. And then like you take a second to think about it and it's like, oh no, that's like genuine abuse. Like
he's
after the
horrible.
reunion, he was like on the reunion show, said to her something to the effect of like, well, I hope you're happy with yourself for ruining this relationship because that's what you're doing right now. Mm-hmm. And like wouldn't make eye contact. Then the cameras go off. They're done with the reunion. They both stand up from the couch and he like grabs her hand and they walk off. And then they're in the dressing room and the producers are like, hey, any questions? I know that ended kind of abruptly. Any questions for us or next steps or anything like that? And Darcy's there and she's like, oh no, like we're fine. I'm just getting like a lot of, like an energy from him. So I'm just trying to like keep things very calm and be quiet and really not say anything that's going to like set him off. And I was like, girl, run. Mm-hmm. Like it was just wild. But like he grabbed her hand, he opened a door for her. And it was just the normalization of that kind of treatment is very like, I just feel very badly for her. I don't think that she's perfect, of course. But
no, Darcy's
I
like one of
do
those
feel
people
very
that just,
badly for her.
She makes me kind of sad because I mean, like the plastic surgery gets so extreme, and
that's what I've seen is that like a before and after of her, I think, and it's like kind of really jarring.
Yes, yeah, it's sad, and I mean, she and her twin are both like they were gorgeous.
Yeah,
and they've had a lot of plastic surgery, so I think there's just a little bit of
which
like,
I get if you're dating that kind of guy.
Dysphoria. Right. Yeah. And I think she's had some like bad relationships and she just seems like, I don't know, like kind of a sad person.
Yeah.
So it makes me sad watching her in that show. I haven't really watched much of her lately. I know that they had like, I think another season at one point. I know he's in the US at one point.
Well, they're in season 2. So in season 2, Darcy and Jesse are back and he just came over to the States and he's like screaming at her already in the car because she picks her up. She picks him up from like JFK or LaGuardia, but then they're like spending a day or two in New York City. And as they're driving, he like wants a fucking tour of everything that they're passing on the highway.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, is that the Jets Stadium? Is that this museum? What's that museum for? And she's like, I don't know. I've never been there.
I'm fucking driving, man. What do you want me to do?
She wasn't driving. She was just in the back seat, which like even more so. I'm like, she's from Connecticut. She's not from New York. If she lived in Queens, then fine. Yeah. But like, I don't fucking know. I can show you where the Empire State Building is and the Chrysler Building and probably mix them up. And like, what do you want from me? Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, damn, like pull up Google Maps. This was not that long ago.
And it continues.
So
he's just, he's
I've
awful.
seen that, but also in season 2 so far, I've seen Angela.
Oh,
and I think Sam.
Michael.
Michael in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And I just so I've seen a few episodes of her, I think from 90 Day Fiance, not from before the 90 days. But I cannot get over the wrinkles. which it has to be a combination of sun damage and then abhorrent chain smoking.
Oh, she chain smokes for sure.
Yeah, it's really intense, but like especially around her mouth, the amount of wrinkles. I've just never seen anything like it.
Have you seen?
So
her
I'm just
mother
like,
yet?
Her mother?
R.I.P.
No, I haven't.
His mother.
But I did see her go to the hairdresser, and the hairdresser is like has their little one-off interview, and is like, "Oh, Anne just has such a big heart, but she's a mess." To have your hairdresser call you a mess, you know it's bad because they hear everything from everybody. Yes. So if your hairdresser says you're a mess, ooh, you need to rethink your life choices.
And she ends up like ultimately displaying very abusive behavior towards him.
Yes. She gets like very controlling and weird.
Yes. Have you seen where he confesses to having gotten a blowjob from somebody?
No.
At one point, he says to the camera, he goes, "I did the BJ for real. And a friend of mine got me a mug with Michael on the side of it, and it says, 'I did the BJ for real.'" I will have to show you a picture.
Are we sure that he received it instead of gave one?
No, they were talking about him receiving from somebody. But yeah, that's a crazy season too. These early seasons of these shows are just like bonkers.
Yeah, at one point in one of the TikTok recaps I asked if TLC did mental health screenings on these people, and I feel like they do, but it's like they're looking for the red flags, not excluding based on them.
Yeah. Yeah, like you have to have a mental health concern in order to be on the show.
Oh, that was the other thing about Pole, is that he looks like one of the Duggars. Oh, yeah. Like he looks like he could seamlessly transition into that family and they wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
Because there's also that group within the Duggars called the Lost Boys, because they had like 6 sons in a row, and like they were just so close in time together that they just sort of
all
like
blend in.
Yeah, like a
like
wrestling mass of and so they're called the Lost Boys online, and I feel like he's one of the Lost Boys. Like they just forgot him when they went to DC one time, and so he like sort of made his way back and ended up in Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah,
he's the worst.
Also, I have family in Louisville, and they listen to this show, so if they could let me know if they've ever seen Pole in real life and also any details, that would be great.
I love that that's a priority for you.
Well, yeah.
To shout out.
What else do we have to look forward to in January?
That's a good point. There's no sun today. It's just so gray. But we did get fresh snow this morning, which was nice.
We did get fresh snow. I'm pretty excited to have a white Christmas.
Yeah. And it's
like a true fluffy white Christmas.
Yeah. Just like this very light, fluffy snow. It's very cute.
Yeah.
But yes, the 90-day franchise, also 90-day UK.
I haven't watched that one yet. I'm excited though.
You got to watch it. It's so good. It's good.
Like, is it like Naked Attraction where it's just super unhinged UK television?
So I like really enjoyed the like season of it, but the tell-all, apparently there had been a lot of like social media drama happening right before the tell-all, and it was intense. There was yelling. Oh yeah. It was
I love that.
It was good.
It's just like perfect brain rot material.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
These people are all of them are certifiable, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like there's something going on somewhere along the line. And
there
was
one guy who got arrested for I think he's like a registered sex offender now.
Oh shit.
Some kind of awful thing. He was on like he might have been on like the first season of regular 90 Day.
Oh.
I think his name was Michael, and he brought over his girlfriend from like Russia, I think. And they had a kid, and he was very weird. And he ultimately wound up getting caught doing something terrible. One of the guys from 90 Day just died. One of the David, and he was with somebody named Lana from Ukraine, and everybody thought for sure, like, you're watching the season and you're like, he's getting catfished. He's very obviously getting catfished. This guy is getting catfished. And he fucking goes to meet her and she shows up. It was the most shocking thing I've ever seen on television. And he also wore this very long trench coat.
Oh, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. He had dark hair. He just died.
Yeah.
He was like 68, 69. I think he had cancer.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
At least,
R.I.P.
I mean, yeah, that sucks. But, I mean, at least there was a reason. It wasn't like a car accident or something.
Sick.
Like, yeah, it's the unexpected ones that are always, like, so scary because it's like there's no way to prepare for that.
It shows you how arbitrary and randomly things happen. Merry Christmas.
Unless you're a
Happy
CEO of
birthday.
a shitty health insurance company, yeah. Otherwise, it's not really all that random.
That's true. Turns out preventative healthcare saves lives.
Who knew?
Huh. I'm really excited for you to be deep diving into the 90 Day universe. Because I'm not like a huge reality TV person, but man, I can crush some 90 Day.
So the other thing about Before the 90 Days is that it's also very similar to Seeking Sister Wife. And I love Seeking Sister Wife. And there's that one couple. Oh, you'd like it. Because there's one couple from, I think, Colorado. I think.
Now, are these people like religious sect people, or are these like, we just want to be in a menage a trois and have another wife?
Yes and no. So there's some people who are like
type.
Not like a polycule type thing, but there's some folks do have like a religious belief tied to their desire to be polygamist. Yeah. Other folks on the show,
it seems to be mostly men that feel that religious calling.
Yeah, there is a show, like a spin-off show called Seeking Brother Husband, which it was interesting, but not quite as
husbands. Like,
I'll
no
get there,
offense to
but
my own, but two.
So in Seeking Sister Wife, there is a family group that it's sort of, they never really talked about their religion too much. It seemed more like it was like a spiritual thing, and a lot of like, it takes a village. Like raising our kids communally makes more sense, and that kind of thing, a little bit more like hippy dippy. But there's a couple on that show, Danielle with one L, and Derek, who the internet calls Ick because he just stares with his mouth like slack-jawed. It's like so fucking weird. But they found this woman in Brazil who was willing to be their sister wife, and basically it's just like a huge long saga, and it's so fucking weird. But the wife, this woman, I think her name was also Danielle, but with two L's, or I'm mixing them up. Doesn't matter. But the legal wife in the US kept calling this potential sister wife sister, and was like, I love you, sister. And like, it was just so weird. You'd love it. It's so weird. And of course, still no learning the other language. Like,
Never.
So pathetic.
I think that especially like this time of year, ADHD, like, you know, you can't, there's so many ways that you're kind of like limited in your dopamine, and you can't really balance things out by being able to like reasonably get fresh air or even just sit outside. It's like not really pleasant to do that right now. So
yeah, it was -7 the other day where we live.
It was so
so cold.
Like,
yeah,
really bitterly cold.
So yeah, I agree. I think like finding these little things that
yes, especially during the holidays. Like maybe you have a little bit of downtime or you're not at work, or you need a break from family time or like whatever it is, or like a decompress at the end of the day or the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
Stuff like this is just it's just like low stakes.
I mean, really it has kind of helped me sort of recover from like burnout in general. Like I got a genuine amount of cleaning done the past 2 days. Like because I spend the rest of the time rotting on the couch watching these crazy fucks try to find love.
I mean, like I do my it's rot girl instead of hot girl. I do my rot girl in the evenings after the baby goes to bed. I'm like, well, I've already made dinner and cleaned up from it, and I don't want to do anything else that's going to create any kind of mess because I don't want to fucking clean up anything else. So I usually am like, I just want to be comfy and warm and relaxed. So I get in bed and I do my wintertime rot girl in bed under my heated blanket.
I've been doing my skincare every day.
But, I did. Oh, nice. How's it working?
Good. Actually, my face is actually very soft.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy. Like, thank God for that super expensive serum.
Oh my God. Isn't it amazing?
But I did. So because you, stole my fiance for massages the other day.
I also
brought
probably
over
ruined his day by the amount of noise that I make during a massage.
There was a conversation had about your outbursts.
There's a lot of outbursts, yeah. Because man, when someone just hits the spot,
it was more that like he was afraid he was hurting you, but it wasn't totally clear because he doesn't know your noises.
Why would he?
So.
And I appreciate it. He'd be, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm good.
But he took my facial moisturizer bottle of lotion with him to assist in
he did
the massage. That. And so he came back and was like, because then when he left your place, he had to go grocery shopping for the week. And so he came back in and he's like, "Oh, I'm exhausted." And he hadn't eaten anything yet that day. So he's just like so spent.
Oh,
he's
jittery and tired. And...
Yeah. And so he's like telling me all this and he's like, "The lotion's in the car, but I don't even care." And I was like, "Could you go get it though? Because I don't want it to freeze and I need it."
Please.
He hadn't taken his shoes off, so I didn't feel so bad. But
that's better. Yes,
it was rough.
I felt bad that I subjected him to that. Because there are a lot of outbursts.
Yeah.
But man, I think of it as this person's getting a lot of positive feedback on what they're doing. They know that they're really helping, right? If I'm
right.
Can somebody please reassure me? Because now I'm self-conscious. Because now somebody else that I know knows that I do that. I do have one friend that does massages that has given me a massage and would laugh because of the sounds I would make. My spouse is mortified by it, so he won't get couples massages with me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I
especially like as your spouse, like I wouldn't want those noises living in my head rent free as not being caused by me.
I don't think anybody wants them in their head, to be honest. And I always feel bad after. And I usually apologize at some point, either before, during, or after the massage about myself.
I either apologize before, during, or after sex. And
everybody walks away with an apology. Okay.
That's the true happy ending.
I'll tell you what, though, man, I felt great after. I was like, this is... I feel like a new person. So it was lovely. It was lovely.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I already have another massage. I have somebody booked for when we go away.
Nice.
There's like a spa like right in the same hotel. So I was like, oh, fuck.
Awesome.
Massage. Love a massage. But my therapist, when I had my last appointment, we were talking about like, how crazy life is. she was like, all right, so what are you going to be doing to like set aside some time for yourself to like relax and kind of recoup from all this stuff? So that's what I've been doing. I've been like doing my curling up under my heated blanket and going to bed really early and trying to drink more water. I've been doing that.
Good.
Actually, like washing and putting lotion on my face. I've been like taking like better care of my skin. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard though.
Yeah, putting lotion on my face has been a very like soothing part of my nighttime routine.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Yeah. Because I just do it when I brush my teeth. So it's like part of, for now, knock on wood, it is existing as part of my nighttime routine.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm not like great about it all the time, but I'm like generally pretty good about it.
Yeah. I'll miss my bigger thing. It's easier also in the winter to remember to put on lotion when I get out of the shower.
Yeah, with the dry skin this time of year.
Yeah. So, because my skin feels so tight, like right away. So we'll see how that goes once it starts to get warm again. But for now, it's all right.
For now, you're allowed. Well, I'm glad. And I think this time of year, it's like, it is hard because I just feel so sleepy all the time. With it being so cold and no sunlight. And
well, and going into January, it's like also that thing where you have so much to do in November and December, and then in January there's nothing.
You're like hungover from all.
Yeah,
that
and
stuff.
it's just like that. Like an object in motion can stay in motion, but an object at rest will stay at rest. So like then you hit January, and it's like you're trying to like tread water like in sand or something. Like you're just like slogging through, and it can be really hard to like find a way to energize yourself without exhausting yourself in the process.
And there's still no sunshine.
Yeah.
Like you're still doing that without the like any warmth. It's still just like cold. It's dark a lot of the time. It's just like a rough. I'm usually good like through the holidays, and then after the holidays I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because I think if I ever become president, which totally would happen.
I love where this is going.
I just think that like holiday lights should be on display until like February, because like January also needs the like extra lights on people's yards and streets. Like, give me the sparkly twinkly lights. It doesn't hurt anybody.
The person who has white lights all over the place all the time, because I just think they're so pretty and soothing, and they just make me happy to look at. So I'm
right. And if everybody's house was still decorated, it'd just be so cute. And like, I just think that the world would be a better place if we just had more holiday lights up all the time.
I don't think there's anything better than white string lights, personally. So you're preaching to the choir on this one.
Buttigieg, O'Brien, 2028. We got it.
I like that you're the vice president in this situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not an idiot. He's way more qualified than me. I'm definitely giving off the vice president vibes. Let's be real. I'm just entertainment at the state dinners.
I really enjoyed that. That was a great progression. Well, keep us posted on your 90-day universe reality TV deep dives.
Yeah, and make sure you're following us on TikTok for as long as possible at Ankle High Pod. The Supreme Court did agree to hear arguments on it, so we'll see. I don't know. I mean, the fact that they're agreeing to hear arguments is promising.
That's true.
I'm surprised that they agreed to, but we'll see. Maybe they're just using it as an opportunity to create new abhorrent law.
There's also that possibility. We've seen that before.
Yeah. But until then, you can follow us on TikTok at Ankle High Pod. We're also on Instagram and Threads at The Bar is Ankle High. You can check out our merch at bit.ly/Ankle High merch. Share us with your friends and family and loved ones and hated ones. Send them an episode and tell them to review it.
Love that. Send them the
yeah.
Krampus ones. They got to hear about the gangrenous flappy doodles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and pickled children coming to life.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Or you can send them the Mary Lude one where I mispronounced Samhain like 19 different times. So
Love that.
we're professionals. And yeah, make sure you leave us a review wherever you want. If you want video episodes, ad-free episodes, and extended episodes, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/thebarsankle-high. And reminder to do so from a desktop computer, not your app if you have an Apple iPhone, because Apple adds a Apple Pay surcharge subscription, whatever the fuck, through the App Store. So you just save a few dollars, and we don't get that extra money. So definitely don't pay it to Apple. Yeah, so that's all I got. Until next week. Enjoy your girl rot.
I love that. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, because the bar is ankle high.
Bye.
Bye.